Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Celtics Talk Radio video chat here on YouTube.com, and of course we're using the Zoom recording. So the Celtics, Igor, last night ended up getting their first win of the Eastern Conference matchup with the Miami.
Right.
So it's now 2-1 series lead for the Miami Heat. Game 4 is scheduled for this coming Wednesday night. 3 days off, basically, thanks to the fact that ESPN has Monday Night Football tomorrow night. So it's an extended break. The Celtics yesterday, Igor, with a dominating victory overall, despite the fact that it did get a little bit close at the end of this game. Final score 117-106. The Celtics getting Gordon Hayward back, which in my opinion was the difference in this game. Jason Tatum scoring 25 points in 41 minutes. Daniel Tice had 8 points in 24 minutes. Kemba Walker 21 points in 41 minutes. Marcus Smart had 20 points in 36 minutes. Jaylen Brown, as your leading scorer, had 26 points in 43 minutes. Brett Williams, 5 points in 9 minutes. Gordon Hayward, 6 points in 31 minutes. Ings Cantor, 4 points in 6 minutes. And Brad Wanamaker scored 2 points in 9 minutes. On the Miami Heat side, Ben Adebayo was the leading scorer for the Miami Heat with 27 points in 38 minutes. Jimmy Butler had 17 points in 37 minutes. That's how this series. He's been consistent in the team, so the Celtics thus far have basically done a pretty good job holding Butler down. Jay Crowder, 10 points in 32 minutes. Goran Dragic, 11 points in 28 minutes. Marcus Smart did a pretty good job stopping him after he's been going for nearly 30 the first 2 games. Robinson, 13 points in 28 minutes. Kelly Olynyk, 3 points in 13 minutes. Jones, 3 points in 16 minutes. Iguodala had no points in 7 minutes. Nunn, 0 points in 4 minutes. And he had 22 points in 36 minutes. So again, 117-106. So game 4 is Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So again, many people seem to feel that now the Celtics are back in this and they're likely to basically take over the series. You've had the first 2 games, as we talked Saturday night on the Celtics Talk Radio show. The Celtics blew both games after having double-digit leads, but down the stretch, blew the leads, and you can technically say this Celtics team should be up 3-0 right now in this case if they basically could have just held on to those leads. But yesterday with Gordon Hayward coming back, Brad Stevens decided to go with the top 5 guys, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown, and that group of guys managed to hold on to this lead in this case around and get the job done. Do you have any confidence, Igor, that this team now could very well end up winning this series rather than possibly losing it? As I said Saturday night, this series was possibly on the ankle of Gordon Hayward coming back.
I mean, everything that you said is correct. And we must give the credit, Daniel, to the Celtics and to Brad Stevens for just stepping up in the hard moments. I mean, the moment of practically facing the elimination, because 2-0 you can catch up with that lead somehow. You must win 4 out of 5 games. Right now, we must win the 3 out of 4 games. I saw some persons saying we must win 7 games till the title or something. This is idiotic nonsense. You must win 3 games more against the Miami Heat prior to talking about the finals. The Boston Celtics bounced back to win Game 3 117, and they 106. They attack uh, the paint. This game had impact of Hayward's return and offensive adjustments to attack the Heat defense and counter to Heat, and they attacked the hole in the middle that I was talking on the show. When the offensive goal was clear to attack Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson is the weakest heart of the Celtics defense, and the Celtics went on him at the opening. Very first of the play of the Celtics, I called short action, the switch, then on the high side, the quick pick and roll, and they swing it to Tatum, who pass on Brown, and Robinson switch on him. Then the pass to Brown, and it splits. Brown splits Robinson's rim protection, and it allows Smart to just simply make a layup. He went from the free throw line to the simply layup. That's how the Celtics have offensive plan to again attack the weakest link in the Miami Heat defense, that is Duncan Robinson. Next play for the Celtics, great adjustment here by Smart. Instead of passing the ball to Tatum, Robinson switches on the high side to the cutting Jaylen Brown. And after the pick, Tatum just make a lob pass to Jaylen Brown, and Robinson was late, of course, and Brown able to finish with an easy layup. Third possession in a low, after switching on the Tatum, he found Brown on Tatum. Then Brown attacks Robinson without hesitation, and he scored an easy basket. Celtics went back to the short action, and Robinson switches on the Brown again. This time on the low side, and not allowing the Celtics to have advantage. Now that ends with Marcus Smart missing a three, while Bam Adebayo covered him. Now another example, dribble handoff in the pick and roll. Simple knowledge that Bam Adebayo is going to switch out on the guards, and in this possession, Bam is switching into Smart, and then he found Tatum, and Robinson just switched on him. And immediately when Tatum saw Robinson, since one of the downsides of switching is rim protection of Adebayo, but Adebayo could not hide, and then Tatum scored easy basket. In other words, possession after possession, the Celtics were attacking Daniel and searching for the switches in which Robinson will stay against either Tatum, Brown, or Kemba Walker, and then that man is having the signal from Stevens to attack Robinson at once. Now, in the next position, Robinson stayed on the perimeter guarding Smart right now, and then switching out of initial action, wide dribble, and then pin down, and another handoff. Bam Adebayo switching on Kemba. Smart reversing Brown to Brown. Robinson switching to Brown, and automatically Brown is going to the rim. Brown automatically going to the rim when Robinson switching on him. In this situation, Daniel, Brown missed a layup, but since Bam is at Kemba on the perimeter, then nobody can pick up the ball, and Tice pick up the ball, and he finished from the offensive rebound opportunity. Here is actually almost exactly the same play. In the third quarter, Celtics run wide dribble action. Bam switches on the Kemba, and then the pin down, and Smart switches to instead of giving the ball to Brown, because Robinson switches to Brown, Smart decided to shoot from the free throw line, and he missed. And Jaylen Brown on this possession contested the three of Robinson. And then on other side of the floor, he seals the Robinson transition, and he was able to finish throughout the contract 2+1 and Robinson foul. So now continuing the theme of Bam switching the ball screen, Tatum lifting, and then this time driving into the post. And this is pretty much the priority. Bam switched to leave the guard, especially who's guarding Robinson, and then draw the foul. And Robinson is at the Tatum, and he scored and was fouled. Now, while the Celtics attacked Robinson often, they also found a way to capitalize of the drives when the heat helps. For example, Crowder helped to Robinson when Brown has possession in one situation. Crowder helped to Robinson, double teamed practically Brown, but Brown able to find the gap, and passing, and the Celtics attacked the closeout and finished over Adebayo. Now Hayward attacked Robinson closeout and Kemba of the corner three. So the Celtics made the great decision in the offense. Not only attacked the Robinson, but Celtics relentlessly attacked the paint in the game three, scoring 60 points in the paint. According to ESPN stat, is tied the most in the playoff game over the last 20 postseason games. Now, in game 1, 26 points in the paint. In game 2, 24 in the paint, which is just for comparison. So again, the most points in the paint by one team in postseason, in the last 20 postseasons, 60 points in the paint. So they kept on attacking the rim. Tatum by going small ball. Gordon Hayward return allowed the Celtics opportunity to play small ball with Hayward on 4 and Brown on 5, even with the lineup that closed the game was Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Brown. Brown was like a center and Gordon Hayward power forward. And this is the difference between the Celtics without Gordon Hayward and the Celtics with Gordon Hayward, because in those situations you have Daniel Tice switching instead of Gordon Hayward. And who do you prefer, Daniel, more to switch and to play for you in those type of situation, game deciding situations? Gordon Hayward or Daniel Tice? Me, Gordon Hayward. So as the Celtics. So by taking advantage of this, by going small ball with the Hayward returning, the Celtics just had luxury of making the turnovers for Heat and attacking them and make easy baskets on the other side. Tatum and Brown had the dunk fest, and clearly you see impact of his, his passing by ability to go small in this game. Kemba, Smart, Tatum, Brown, and Hayward, and now combats the Miami Heat 4-guard lineup with Bam to bite and to match up. Goran Dragic has been masterful in first two games, and he reminded of 2017 Euro basketball. In first two games, he scored 29 and 25 points. He was extremely efficient out of 19 shoots. In game one, it was more of scoring out of the ball screens to hurt the Celtics defense with ability to attack Celtics down hill, Tyson Cantor. He was able to score through resistance. Game two, he started attacking Cantor in the second half, and in the third and fourth as a roll man with the ball screen. He attacked the basket. For example, in the third quarter issues, he was assisting to the Bam Adebayo. Now, between Robert Williams, Cantor, and Tice, Stevens went to Cantor, and the first half was pretty good in the defense of the game too. In the third period, the Heat decided to attack Cantor off dribble handoff game, and they just was masterful. Dragic finished 25 points and scoring in the fourth period with those on-ball screens actions. I'm talking about the game 2. Now, Stevens was yelling at Tice in the game 2 to switch. Now, Tice was switching on Dragic, and Dragic was able to cook Daniel Tice either with a step back three or the drive and the basket, and the story just went the hit end. In the game 3, Dragic, in 21 actions, find the BAM as a roll man. Now, Tice was defending the on-ball possession. Dragic was able to create advantage in one action, for example, for Derrick Jones Jr., or to find Crowder for the open corner three. Stevens decided to start smart on the Dragic and move Kemba on the Crowder, trying to slow down Dragic attack. And that's, prevented his drives against Kemba and make him harder on the ball screen, especially with Hayward with the helpline defense. And Celtics playing man and man. In every other circumstances, the Celtics switched to zone occasionally. And the reason for this was because of the hit back screen with the dribble handoff situations on BAM. And this now allows the Celtics to seamlessly switch 1 throughout 4. And now Brown can use his length against Dragic and blocking him in his ball screen actions. Also, Hayward is tagging Ben in the positions, and Ben cannot dunk. And a couple of steals for Hayward. Now it slows Dragic, and the Celtics are controlling the paint, putting Tice and Kanter on the non-shooters. Kanter is not involved in ball screen actions anymore. The next clips, we saw the Crowder, not being able to use his ability to score open the three. In the second period, the Celtics up 4. Brad Stevens went to the lineup of Smart, Kemba, Brown, Tatum, and Hayward, the Celtics small ball. The Miami Heat decided to start off going their floppy actions in the second, just look to get shooters open and then flash BAM to the elbow, which goes into their normal handoff ball screen actions offense. So the Celtics can switch pretty much everything. Brown on the Butler forces the turnover that leads to an easy Tatum dunk without contest on the primary breakdown. Next, the Heat go right back to the BAM on the elbow, almost in the same spot, with Hero coming off the Chicago action and pin down, dribble handoff with Kemba defending him, and Hero in the second quarter clean look, which leads to Tatum outletting and Brown to the easy dunk. The Celtics defended BAM with the Brown on the small ball, and Heat yet again tried to get the BAM ball in the middle, but Brown gets with the hands another steal, and in transition he scored. Brown was masterful. With Kemba in the game, decided to go small. They are going to the zone, sealing out of bounds, then switch to man-to-man defense. The problem switching back-to-back man, little Jimmy Butler open, and he missed the floater. Now, again, small ball with the physicality. Even on offense, the Celtics elect to put Marcus Smart in the offense against Dragic, and Smart finish with the contact. The Celtics 9-0 run in the second going small, and this scenario is pretty small move. Dragic switch on the Brown, and Jaylen Brown extended arm prevent Dragic for the drive, and Smart moved to Dragic on the switch and slow him down. Another action, the stack action for the Celtics. Hero switching on Kemba, ball screen. Once, I love what happened. Two, they clear the space, and while attacking on the weak side, Kemba stayed on the weak side, and he spotted up Hero for nice jumper from the baseline. And the Celtics up 13. The next position showed the true value of playing small. Hayward being able to switch under the screen to Dragic and relieve any pressure of the Celtics defense. Now Brown gets the deflection and the Celtics just stayed 13 at the half. That's practically how the Celtics beat the lead. Now, the Celtics did play smaller overall with a huge benefit on Hayward back, but also Grant Williams at 5, although this move made Tice on the bench. The Heat played twice in the third zone, and we can saw this advantage of Grant Williams against the Zo. The first possession, Brown drive in the middle, and then kick to the Grant, and Grant Williams scored a 3. A little ball screen in the corner, and actually Grant finished over Adebayo. Nice cut from Grant. Then the Hayward assist to the great Kemba Walker 3. Now, downside of playing small is that there are some issues with Bam Adebayo on the offense with his skills against Hayward, but he was not successful with the post-ups. Also, Butler scored a couple of times against Hayward or Brown. Now, with Hayward on the roll, Adebayo just has open opportunity, and the Heat scored out of the second chance. Heat played man-to-man, action with Robinson, dribble handoff, and Bam Adebayo allowed the simple points. Now we are looking forward, Daniel, to see what the Heat will do. And couple of notes from my side. This was breakup of the Celtics adjustments and how the game went. Because if you follow our work, Daniel, we dissected the games too in our last show, 269, that you can find on blogtalkradio.com. 269th episode with Bobby Krivitsky. In the third hour, I broke down how the Celtics lost the game too. Celtics adjustments panned out in the first half. So best 5 lineup with Smart played only 18 minutes this year, and that lineup outscored the small ball, the Heat 10-2 in the first half. Smart on Dragic hindered Miami's half-court offense, like I said, and it was a problem for Heat. Kemba on Crowder switch, it led to the cross matches in transition and multiple easy shoots because Crowder is not there to prevent that. And Hayward helping against the zone with his hands, it was huge. The Heat need to get their half-court offense clicking again in the game 4 if they want to win. Tyler Hero, with his masterful shooting in the first half, Daniel kept them within the reach. But with Smart on Dragic, it might be Jimmy Butler time starting the third period. Bam Adebayo needs to make Boston pay if Boston gets to the smaller lineup of Kemba, Brown, Tatum, Hayward, Smart again in the fourth period. But that's just the way I saw in short notes the game number 3. Again, great adjustments from the Stevens, great execution for the Celtics. And one note, we better attack the zone. Grant Williams twice, great attacking against the zone. Brown, smarter attacking against the zone and smarter offense, passes, and attacking the rim. And also couple of good offensive possessions from Hayward, but Heat didn't play the zone as much in the game number 3. Maybe Eric Spoelstra is saving some tweaks for the game number 4. What do you say, Daniel, on this breakdown? Shortest as I can, breakdown of the game number 3.
Well, again, Gordon Hayward, in my opinion, that was the biggest adjustment that Brad Stevens was able to make. For them, him returning allowed the Celtics to avoid, basically made it where there was no double teaming or triple teaming from Miami in this case. The top reason for that was because Brad Stevens was able to go with 5 decent shooters all at once. Like you said, going with the small ball option in this case. As I've said before, and we said on the radio show, Tice is not a shooter. Yeah, he can hit the three ball in this case. He can hit a jump shot, but he's not a consistent shooter, and that's what you're looking for in this situation.
Of course, the Celtics fans that are pretending that Daniel Tice is the new Bill Russell will not agree with us, Danny. They will tell us, quote, we almost won the title with Daniel Tice on the center. And I'm telling to those fans, great. When the Celtics reach the finals with the Tice at the center, and when the Celtics wins actually the title with Daniel Tice, Robert Williams, and Grant Williams at the center position, and Enes Kanter, those four guys, when they win the title with 20% of their salary cap going to the center position, I will actually admit, Daniel, that the center position is not important anymore in the NBA. Until then, I will look at the other teams, just like Heat. They have Miles Leonard, who is not playing 6'11". They have Kelly Olynyk, 6'11". They have Bam Adebayo, who is 6'8" or 6'9", if I'm correct, but he has wingspan of 217 centimeters, as I said on the show. Also, look at the Lakers. The Lakers are the favorites number one to win the title, and they will win it, in my opinion, sadly. They have the center line of JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis, and Dwight Howard. Now, are you really going to tell me that the center just doesn't matter? And look at Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets with, Porter Jr., with Nikola Jokic, with Miles Plumlee. They have the heights, and also Paul Millsap. They have the mass inside. They have the heights. They have versatility. And are you really going to tell me that it is the small ball year, the year in which the teams are playing small ball? Come on. I mean, get to your senses. Now, Tice is a fine player. I always want to have that type of player as a role player at my team, but I don't want to have Tice as my starting center. Sorry for interrupting you, and please go on.
Yeah, so Tice is not no Kevin Garnett in terms of consistency when it comes to hitting a jump shot. He's not no Dirk Nowitzki when it comes to consistency to being able to hit the three-pointers. So you're getting Gordon Hayward back yesterday, made it where even if Miami wanted to go into their zone defense, they didn't have the ability to simply leave that fifth man open and start double teaming Jason Tatum whenever he got the ball like they did in games 1 and 2, or double team Jaylen Brown, or double team Kemba Walker. They now had to consider going simply man to man and basically make sure that you always had your eye on that fifth guy, because if you left them wide open, that guy was going to basically cause you some trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that you might basically want to say that Hayward is the fifth man in this case in terms of importance to this team, despite the fact that he's got a bunch of issues in terms of injuries, Hayward's reputation, from his time in Utah, still has a major impact in how teams treat him at this point. Same thing.
And the experience and the quality. You must have experienced player, playoff experience, not bunch of rookies if you want to win a ring.
Yeah. Same thing with the officiating in this case. His experience and the way he played as a number one option in Utah plays a role in how he gets a certain treatment from the officiating at times. Yesterday, what did we see different when he was basically playing that fifth man role compared to Daniel Tice? We saw better ball movement. We saw shots being made. We saw an option to attack the rim that you definitely don't see with Daniel Tice. We saw diving to the floor that you don't see from Daniel Tice. There are more opportunities in there.
Passing, and transition. defense and better offense against the zone and better defense on the switches, everything
Yeah,
better.
everything is an improvement, which is why you said in the last show, this series was literally going to come down onto the ankle of Gordon Hayward. If he could play in Game 3 and not have any problems whatsoever, you have a chance to come back and win this series. Because now
Absolutely.
Miami, you can use the pick and roll because that's the one thing you have said about Miami compared to, let's say, Philly and Milwaukee. Bam Adebayo is the biggest man they got. And Bam is not much bigger than Jaylen Brown. Height-wise, they're roughly the same height. He may be, a little bit bigger, maybe bigger in terms of weight, but height, they're roughly the same. Which is why every time
Yes.
Jaylen Brown was the one defending him, if you noticed. If not, Gordon Hayward was the one taking him. And you didn't notice, Igor, Bam did not have much luck whenever he had to shoot over those guys. And by luck, Igor, I'm talking about getting easily to the rim and getting a bunch of dunks and layups. He still that's
He's not established player yet, Bam Adebayo. He has some things to work on. Post-up game, 3 points game, etc. You're correct.
Yeah, so even with the fact that we had Hayward and Brown and Tatum defending Bam yesterday, we saw Bam having to shoot over them, floaters, hook shots, and those shots, they went in yesterday, but I would rather see shots like that having to be taken by him because there's always a possibility he's going to mess up rather than a bunch of layups and dunks like we've been seeing him get against Cantor and Tice and Time Lord and Grant Williams. So this is the benefit of having Gordon Hayward back. None of that happens if you're having to go with one of those big guys alongside Kemba, Marcus Smart, Brown and Tatum, or a combination of one of those three, and let's say Brad Wanamaker in this case. So now that you have Hayward back, the good thing that you and me said earlier also is that with Game 4 now on Wednesday night, that you have 3 days to give Hayward, and Brad Stevens also mentioned this last night in the post-game press conference when he was asked about Hayward playing over 30 minutes. He admitted the intention at first was not to let Hayward play so many minutes in this game. But they kind of figured with 3 full days off before they play Wednesday night, they might as well let him go beyond the minutes that they were expecting to give him because he's got plenty of time to rest with 3 full days. And ultimately, it ended up working out perfectly because Hayward, played with the biggest impact of all. He didn't score much in this situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see the next game him basically having a much more bigger impact offensively-wise when it comes to making more baskets in this case. But you would not see so much of an open lane to attack the rim. You would not see so much transition baskets, and you would not see so much of an ability to basically stop Dragic, Butler, and Crowder if you don't have Hayward in that game yesterday. Tice, like you said, he's a good player in this situation, but Tice at times appears lost on defense. There's too much miscommunication in this case with the pick and roll, because Tice can be a little bit slow in this situation. Hayward is much more faster, and again, experience. That's the key thing. The experience that he has, and the fact that he can basically play almost anyone in this case, makes it where he's the perfect player to basically replace Tice in the starting lineup with the rest of those guys alongside Brown with this matchup. If we were playing Milwaukee or Philadelphia and we're talking about someone like Embiid or Giannis, then you got no choice but to stick with guys like Tice and Cantor because those guys are just too big. But because we're talking Bam Adebayo in this case, it's a totally different story. So it was a great game, Igor. The adjustments Brad Stevens made yesterday, and the fact that every time Miami made a run, those five guys were put in there, and they made a run right back to push it back up to double digits. That was something
Absolutely.
you see in the first game or in that second game. The moment Miami made their run, that was it. The run pushed Miami right ahead of you, and the Celtics never responded.
Now, I mean, a couple of notes. First of all, it is very interesting, Daniel, that Eric Spoelstra didn't play zone too much, and also he experimented a couple of things. For example, I don't know why he kept Bam so long in the game when it was over. Maybe because they were doing comeback or trying to do comeback in the fourth, but he benched Jimmy Butler, who didn't have the best game. And also he played some things that he didn't play before. For example, he played Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo together for the first time in this series. Now, I mean, one opinion is that he was preparing for the game number 4. He has time to make a tweaks, and we definitely should expect the better Miami Heat in the game number 4, because they do realize that this is the key game. If they lost 2-0 lead, the Celtics will have momentum. Actually, Jimmy Butler said after the game number 3 that right now the Celtics are having the momentum, and this is the truth. Now, is this playing of the Celtics sustainable? This is the key, you know. If this if this game that the Celtics are playing, if this fashion of playing is sustainable, then the Celtics can win 3 out of next 4 games. But we will see if this is sustainable. That is the key. Now I want to say a couple of statistics. Until now, accumulated, Daniel, we have like 144 minutes, and out of 144 minutes, in 101 minute, the Celtics led it in the series, but they are down 1-2, which is pretty interesting. Or when you talk about the percent, this is the statistic by Sean Grundy. He said that 74.5% the Celtics led it in the series thus far in the first 3 games. Also, that Heat led it like 20.5%, and 5% of the times in the series it was tied. So it is showing you that I mean, the Celtics were pretty much dominant in the series, you know, but they have problems closing the games. And I want to say something about it. I mean, the Celtics fans, Daniel, are acting just like there is some reward for the team that is having the biggest lead in the game, or the team that led it the most of the time in the series. If there is that kind of award, the Celtics will definitely get the award for leading 70% of the time in the series. But sadly, the Celtics fans, there is no award for leading majority of the time in the series. You are winning the game if you lead the game at the very second it's the end. So if you lead at the end of the game, then you win the game. Okay. you're not winning the game if you lead majority of the minutes. And this is something the Celtics fans need to learn and need to separate in their heads. What do we have, Daniel, as Boston Celtics team, organization, and fans from the fact that the Celtics led it 70%, 74.5% in the series when the Celtics are down 1-2? I will answer you. Absolutely nothing. And this is fool's gold. The team that is not able to close the games is not a championship caliber team. Luckily, in the game 3, Marcus Smart drained in the last 2 minutes when it mattered. Marcus Smart, Daniel, drained 8 out of 8 free throws. He scored 8 free throws. That is the way how you close the game, just like last night. And again, the Celtics fans need to leave those countable statistics that are actually fools for gold. For example, the Celtics have more rebounds, the Celtics have more assists, Tatum has the most points since Kobe Bryant, since Bill Russell, since whoever. I don't care if Jason Tatum has this, if Jason Tatum has that, or Jaylen Brown. I don't care about individual statistics. All I care is the team success. And again, we can lead 99% of the time in the series. If we lose 4 games, we're losing the series, and we are not better team, because better team, Daniel, is able to close the opponents. And this is the biggest lesson the Celtics fans and the team should learn. That is all I have to say to those people. And I have the people saying that the Celtics should lead 3-0 in the series. It made me laugh. Again, this is highly underestimation of the Miami Heat team value and players value. But it doesn't matter right now. The team that is not able to close the game, that team doesn't deserve to win the game, period. No matter if this is Los Angeles Clippers, if this is Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, or some third team. That's just the way it is in basketball. And the people should educate themselves prior to talking something. Otherwise, they will look stupid and the people will laugh at them. Opinion?
No, you're right in this case. For example, the discussion of Marcus Smart in this case. Marcus Smart, Igor, has been, in my opinion, absolutely incredible during these playoffs. You know, people that look to, you know, the matchup with Toronto, you know, ever since he took over the spot from Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart has been on fire for the most part. You know, his three-point shooting has completely improved overall. His free-throw shooting has been way better than you normally would expect. And he's still getting the job done on defense. You think I'm wrong? Look at what we've seen through the first 3 games overall. First 2 games, he was the prime defender on Jimmy Butler. And Dragic ends up being the one to basically have the better numbers. Yesterday, he gets put on Goran Dragic, and Dragic comes away with only 11 points. But this is where I would say Marcus Smart is not being given the right to get a max contract, ladies and gentlemen. You're giving your max contracts to Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Gordon Hayward. So if Marcus Smart isn't worth a max contract, why the heck is it you gotta depend on him to be the one to do the dirty work and finish the job down the stretch while those guys are screwing up? You think I'm lying about this? What, Igor? You just gave some of the evidence by mentioning how Smart had to score the final 10 points of the game for the Celtics. Granted, 8 of those points came from the free throw line, but still, he got the final 10 points scored. Look at the few other mistakes, Igor. You have, again, you won by 11, you won by double digits, but you blew a double-digit lead. That game got close before ultimately the lead went right back up. Think of the mistakes that we saw. One mistake that we both said we weren't happy to see from one of those top 4 players, and we got bashed by several Celtic fans. The flagrant foul call against Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has Gordon and Dragic defending him, and then Jaylen Brown decides to try and swing the ball from his right side to his left side, and he delivers an elbow right to the face of Gordon Dragic. Dragic goes down, and immediately it's an offensive foul call, and Miami immediately saying, we want this reviewed because that's a flagrant. No offense, Celtic fans, but if you really have been watching the sport all season long, that has been a flagrant foul all season long. Yes, that's a normal NBA move, going from one side to the other with the ball, but making contact with the head of another player has been a flagrant foul all season long. That's just the honest truth. So, why in the world, if you're Jaylen Brown, are you going to go the route of going from right to left, and you're going to have your elbow make contact with the face of a player from the other team, knowing he's just going to go down like somebody just gave him a shot straight to the heart so he can try to get a car and try to get 2 foul shots and the ball because his team is desperate right now because the clock is running down and they think and that could give them potentially a chance to score 6 points if your team basically gives up 2 free throws and if you let them get the 3 on the extra possession and you foul them on that 3 as well. That's a stupid move on Jaylen Brown's part. What else do we see? What about the fadeaway 3-pointers, Igor, by Tatum? Down the stretch, there wasn't as much ball movement as we saw through the first 3.5 quarters, we can say. That's why I say, down the stretch, too much hero ball. An argument could be made, Igor. You could have easily lost that game last night if Marcus Smart doesn't actually get those foul calls and actually makes his free throws in this case. So, no offense, ladies and gentlemen, we can celebrate, but this team still has a lot of work to do, and these players, specifically your top 4, more importantly, I would say your top 3, Tatum, Kemba, and Brown, you're the ones that need to lead the charge. Think about it. Your last big 3 ago, Barnett, Pierce, and Allen, would you see any of them making those kind of stupid mistakes? Or did you see them making Kendrick Perkins and Rajon Rondo basically doing the work? No. One of those 3 was always doing the job because of the fact that they always knew what to do at the right spot. Yes, these guys are young, but hey, they're being paid the big bucks already. Tatum's about to be making more money than any Celtic player in NBA history, ladies and gentlemen. If he's worth that type of cash, then there should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to say something so simple you should be able to avoid. Simple mistakes you should be able to avoid. Same thing when it comes to Brown. If you're attacking the rim and you're getting 50 freaking points attacking the rim, why not attack the rim late instead of basically trying to take a three-pointer and basically just looking at the rim, waiting for the clock to run down, and then going backward and sending the shot up. Attack the rim, Tatum. Attack the rim. Same thing for Brown. So, overall, I'm happy with the win, but then again, we gotta hope that the hero ball situation goes away completely. Because if you manage to win this round against Miami and you go to the NBA Finals, the biggest, stage you got in the NBA, and you just happen to be going toe-to-toe with LeBron and the Lakers, I feel that whole thing of hero ball, especially when it comes to Brown and Tatum, could rear its ugly head, and it could very well cause us to get beat quickly.
Okay, finally, so the next game is Wednesday night. We have time to prepare so as the Heat. In this moment, Daniel, I think that this will be the advantage of Miami Heat, because Boston Celtics are having the momentum, and Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra, I'm sure they will prepare more for the game number 4 and better. Then they would be prepared if the game is, for example, Monday. They have a couple of days extra rest and practice to make some tweaks in the zone and the offense against the Celtics small ball lineup with Hayward. Anyway, the next game, Daniel, is the most important game in the series for the Celtics. I have heard that tonight's game is a statement game or something, some nonsense. I really disagree. I think this is the great win, but this was the game in which the Celtics played with their backs behind at the wall. This was a do or die game for the Celtics practically. Technically, it was not elimination game, but for the Celtics, it was elimination game. And Miami Heat, Daniel, for them, they didn't need that game 3. This is maybe the reason why they calculated a little, especially Spoelstra, knowing that it will be the long series. Now, the game 4 is important for Miami too, because if they lose the game 4, the series is tied, and they would blew the 2-0 lead, and it will certainly make damage to their mental strength. So if the Celtics win the game 4, and they are the favorites, 2.5 points to win the game 4, then we have the new series, best of 3 series, and the winner of that series will go to the finals. If the Heat wins the game number 4, I feel that the series will be over in maybe in 5 or eventually 6 in the Heat favor. So that is why the Celtics must play just like this is elimination game, and indeed the game 4 is the best and the most important game of the series thus far. I wrote at the page and repeat, I don't think that games 1 and 2 were statement wins for the Heat, and I don't think that tonight's game is a statement win for the Celtics. The importance of this win in the game 3 last night, Daniel, will be known after the games number 4, 5, and 6. If the Heat, for example, win the series 4-1, this game and win in the game number 3 would mean absolutely nothing for the Celtics. It would be the fool's gold. But if the Celtics turn around, for example, and win in 6 or 7, we can say that this game number 3 was the beginning of the good stretch for the Celtics, and it was the turnaround game in the series. So the importance of this win will be known after games number 4, 5, and 6. We said, Daniel, that we expect Celtics in 7, and after Gordon Hayward return, I feel comfortable in this prognosis. I don't expect to be over in 6. I would be stunned if somebody wins in 6, especially Heat, but everything is possible. You know, the teams are even, and I think that the NBA wants the long series too. What is your thoughts and prognosis looking forward to the games 4, 5, and 6 in the series?
Well, like you said, the situation with us having to deal with the game being Wednesday, it's a benefit for us because of the fact that now it gives Hayward a chance to rest up. There's going to be any sort of negative reaction for that ankle of his. It's a benefit to have 3 days, now, instead of having just only 1 day off and then having to play the very next night. You have the fact that, yeah, they'll give Miami a chance, to, prepare. But I'm hoping Brad Stevens will take the guys with 2 days, you get 3 days off, maybe do some sort of work over and try to focus on doing some sort of planning on how to defeat that zone. If you can do some planning to defeat that zone, then I give Boston the edge to win this series at that point. Because really, that zone has been the only issue that's basically kept Miami in this series. Obviously the zone is something that tries to basically force you to become a three-point shooting team. If you manage to find a way to basically defeat that zone and basically get more of an inside game despite them playing the zone, Miami's not going to stop this team. The Celtics at that point are too big for Miami basically to recover and stop them. It's good to see that the guys getting a break, but again, I think that we're going to win Game 4 ultimately in this case. And then at that point, I think whoever takes Game 5 will ultimately be the one that walks away victorious.
Okay. I mean, we have an excellent article that I'm recommending to the listeners and viewers. Zach Lowe, one of the best journalists in the NBA, he said that if the Celtics wants to win the series, they need to fix the two big problems that they have. Both one problem in the defense and one problem in the offense. On the defense, they need to stop Bam Adebayo's influence. I think that they succeed the last night to slow him down. But is this sustainable? We will see. And number one problem to find the solution against the zone. Now, Daniel, again, we attack the zone more and better to say that way, and more successful in the game number 3 than in previous 2 games, or in games number 1 and 2. But the thing is, the Heat didn't play more than 10 possessions. I think that actually they played like less than 10 possessions of the zone. So we will see when the Heat plays like 20-30 possessions the whole period, like in the game 2, the zone, how the Celtics offense will look like. with Hayward, it will be definitely easier. But is this sustainable? We will see. So the keys of slow down Bam Adebayo's influence on, on the offense and the defense, and of course the successful offense against the zone. Those are the two keys, like Zach Lowe says, and I mean, I don't know. What will happen in game number 4. Again, the Celtics fans acting like the series is over. I said it's not over after game number 2. I'm saying after game number 3, the series is not over. And especially if the Celtics win the game 4, it's not over. On the contrary, this is the beginning of the new series, best of 3. And the winner of best of 3 series will go to the finals. In that case, if the Celtics win the game number 4. So the Celtics are favorites, 2.5 points to win the game number 4. If I'm correct, 210.5 points accumulated. So those are the official odds. The Celtics are favorites, no excuses. Gordon Hayward returned. The Celtics have momentum. The Celtics have time to, rest and prepare for the game number 4. We're expecting the good game, the good series, and the long series. That's all from us. That is the short chat in which we analyze the game number 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics defeated the Heat 117-106, or the Celtics are still alive in this series. That's all from us. The next show is 26th September 2020 at 6 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com. We are Celtics Talk Radio, Igor and Danny. We love you all. Daniel?
Yep, so tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I should say Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. We'll have your game coverage that night, and hopefully, again, like I said, I expect the Celtics to win Wednesday night, and then Friday night, again, Game 5. I think whoever takes that game will win this series overall. I agree with Charles Barkley, unfortunately. I think that Western Conference Finals matchup is pretty much already decided, Igor, and they're just waiting to determine which matchup.
Yes.
Lakers and Celtics or Lakers and Heat.
Yes, sir. So, see you next.
Okay, so it looks like we got stable. So again, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll see you all. We'll see you all basically this coming Saturday night, after Game 6 in this case. So Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Celtics Talk Radio.